Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 4, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 5 for the season, approaching the halfway point, otherwise entitled Break the Cycle. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's actually watch the trailer.
I'm headed back to Smallville.
For what?
To take care of this.
He is going to do something terrible to my family.
I can't just hide.
Do not give up hope, my son.
Luthor is gonna send his monster. We are not safe here.
So last episode, bit of a surprising episode, even though it was the most normal and chilled out episode of the season so far, and based off the trailer for this week's episode, episode 4 will continue to hold that mantle as the most chilled out normal episode so far. But last episode we had Superman returning, which was a bit surprising at the beginning of the episode. Not too surprising as a whole if he returned in the episode, but literally in the opening scene, very surprising. So he's back, re-acclimatizing to, well, I guess being alive, but just Smallville life, I guess. But we do get Jonathan training, and Clark's very impressed by Jonathan sort of, hitting the powers pretty quickly and getting used to them pretty quickly. But, it's a pretty basic episode with, Kyle and Chrissy's wedding and some drama surrounding it, alongside that. We get a new Superman suit with some new little details here and there. But as the episode ends, which sort of sets up, I guess, the craziness that's coming our way in this episode and probably for the rest of the season, the news does get out there that's, that Superman is back. He's live, he's back and kicking because, of course, Superman or Clark does go to Metropolis to help out Jonathan. The public sees him. And of course, as we know, the news is going to break. So how does Lex Luthor react? Well, the trailer gives us a bit of a hint, doesn't it? But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions and everything we go over in this video and what you're looking forward to the most from this episode based off the trailer, and any theories and predictions you might have. I'm always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, want to show support, looking forward to the episode, drop a like, takes 2 seconds. But before we get into the actual breakdown, we will quickly read out the synopsis for this episode, as that only came out, I think, today. I think from when I'm making this video, or yesterday, probably from when you're seeing this video, because I guess it contains spoilers. But anyway, Lois makes increasingly bold moves as she tries to stop Luthor. Jonathan struggles to balance his personal life and responsibilities, while Clark learns an unsettling truth. Now, just to start off before we break it down, this episode is directed by Elizabeth Henstridge, who has directed in previous seasons. I think she might have directed 2 episodes, in previous seasons, but she will be debuting this season as an actor on the show. Not an actor in general, of course. She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff like that, but she's debuting as a Superman Lois character this season as Lex Luthor's daughter, Elizabeth. We already saw her in some photos in Lex Luthor's room in episode 2, I think it was. I think in the hotel room in Smallville, but I don't know if we will see her this episode. But I think her directing this episode either means she will show up in this week's episode or the following episode, episode 6. But we will wait and see, as there is something in this week's trailer that maybe hints at her. It doesn't confirm it, but it definitely hints at it potentially. But anyway, we start off the trailer with the skyline of the night in Metropolis, which is always good to see. And we can see the Luthor Corp building right there, with the big slanted L on top. And we do hear Lex Luthor saying he is heading back to Smallville, with us seeing him in a meeting room and he's talking to Amanda McCoy, with Amanda asking why he would be going back to Smallville, with us seeing the Daily Planet article on Superman being back and, of course, being alive. Now, I am intrigued to see if we get a proper reaction to this, because it would be a bit of a a bit of a slip up, because Lex is planning this stuff out. He has it seems like he's got a really strategic plan that has a B option for different steps of it. So the stuff with Jordan, if Jordan didn't go the way he thought he was going to go, there was an option B or an option C and stuff like that. But I really don't think he had an option that once he's got Superman's heart and destroys Superman's heart, that then there's an option where Superman comes back alive. So I think this is going to put a big spanner in the works, and I'm very intrigued to see how he responds. And I think this is going to cause a massive deviation in regards to whatever he's planning, whether it is just the overall plan of attack or what his end goal is. So I'm really excited to see what happens here and changes up. There was a mid-season trailer that dropped, which is about a minute in length or something. It contains a decent amount of footage from this episode, from this trailer, might I say. But it has some other stuff, and I'll probably do a video on that on the weekend, because I want to see if they drop anything else. But it's also got some other stuff that's not relating to this episode, so I'll leave that, but expect that video out on the weekend sometime, roughly. Now, just looking at that article quickly, I won't read the words and stuff, because who cares, but it's written by Janet Olson. Now, Janet Olsen has been on the show before. She was a reporter on John Henry's Earth and worked with Lois from that Earth. Now, a lot of people thought she was just like a gender-bent version of Jimmy Olsen, which I guess makes sense. Janet, Jimmy, J. Olsen, I guess that makes sense. But she also exists on this Earth now that Superman Lois is based off this article. Now, people are wondering, is she related to Jimmy Olsen? Because we know Jimmy Olsen's going to be showing up later this season. In the comics, Jimmy has a sister called Janie, as in like, Janie's got a gun, you know, or hopefully she doesn't, but you know, the same name, if you know what I mean. So this could be his sister on this Earth. Maybe that comes up this episode. Like they say, oh, yeah, Janet Olsen, you know, Jimmy's sister or whatever. Or maybe just related to Jimmy in some way, like his auntie or something. I don't think it would be his wife. I don't think so. I don't think that would be the case. Especially just because of the similarities in name to his sister from the comics. But anyway, maybe that comes up this episode or when we meet Jimmy later this season, which we still don't have a confirmed episode number that Jimmy's going to be in, though it seems like it's probably going to be like episode 7 or 8 roughly, but that's a wait and see. He is going to do something terrible to my family. Now, this is said by Lois Lane, and she is talking to someone that we cannot really see properly just because we're looking at the back of their head. Now, this is what I was talking about before. Is this Elizabeth Luthor? Because I was looking at the back of the head, it looks like a bit of like a reddish brown, sort of like, you know, that type of color. So I was thinking maybe it could be Lana, but then I was like, no, the hair color doesn't match up to Lana. So is it Elizabeth Luthor? As I said, the actress, Elizabeth Henstridge, is directing this episode. So it would make sense that she maybe appears at first in this episode, even if it's just for one scene. And then maybe next week's episode, or the episode after this one, episode 6, is where there's more scenes with her. That's, I think, a decent chance, though this trailer doesn't confirm it, though they do love to like tease little things like this by not showing the character and teasing them with like a shot of the back of their head or something. Though this could also be someone else connected to Luthor from the past, as we do know that Lois and Chrissy are diving into more of Luthor's past connections to take him down once again. And, you know, Lois would pose the thing like, hey, like he's legitimately trying to like kill people in my family and surrounding me and stuff like that. Any help you can provide would be good. So even if it wasn't, whether it was Elizabeth Luthor or not, and it was just someone random that's still connected to Luthor, I think Lois would still say this stuff. But I don't know. Do you think it's Elizabeth Luthor? I think based off the shot of the back of the head, it is, but I'm not 100% sure at the same time. I just can't hide. Now, this is Clark talking to Lois, and I think this could be more of a reaction to that news getting out that we saw being alerted by all the different outlets and stuff at the end of last episode, rather than, say, Lex approaching Lois or sending Doomsday to them or anything like that. Because Lois and Clark would be able to put 2 and 2 together and realize, oh yeah, Luthor would have seen that news for sure. You know, maybe not straight away when he woke up, but, you know, you see it eventually or be told. Of course, we see at the beginning of the trailer it's at night, so I don't know if that necessarily means it's like that night, you know, because when that news broke, it was at nighttime. You know, it's when Clark and Lois were quote unquote going to bed with a bit of extra activity, if you want to put some sugar on top or something. But I don't know if Lex sees it that night or he sees it the following night, or maybe like it's earlier in the morning, like 4 a.m. or something. I'm not too sure. So it's not like Lex is seeing it like 2 p.m. the next day. We know he's seeing it at night because of the shot in the trailer of him reacting to that webpage and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it could be a mix of the two. But then again, maybe it's like Clark and Lois wake up and they see that stuff. But I don't know. Regardless, they're going to know that Luthor's not going to be overly happy with that news coming out, just because it's going to deviate from whatever he was planning. Now, we do have Clark appearing to maybe be approaching Lex in Smallville. Clark does fly back to the Kent house to warn that Luthor is going to send his monster, aka Doomsday, to them again, and that they aren't safe. So I'm very interested to see what their reaction could be, because a lot of the conflict, one-on-one at the very least, has been Lois and Luthor, or it has been like Lois with someone and Luthor. It hasn't really been Clark and Luthor or Superman and Luthor. So I'm just interested to see what that dynamic could be, because we haven't seen a lot of it, you know. And even if it has been, you know, like Kal-El and Luthor, it's been Superman and Luthor. It hasn't been Clark in his glasses in Smallville talking to Luthor. So that excites me, that could be a really cool scene in this episode. But if like Doomsday is literally going to be after them again, like where do they go? Do they hold strong at the Kent house? Like, is that what they do? And I have a big question about this, and I do wonder if this is going to be the case. Maybe not this episode, but maybe like episode 6 or 7, because I don't think this character makes it to the series finale. Does Doomsday get taken down soon? I think the answer to that is yes. I don't think this character makes it to the finale, let alone even like episode 8 or 9. I think we're done with this character in the next couple of episodes, but I am wondering how they do it. And this is sort of not hinted at really, but it could be attached to this bit here where we do hear, "Do not give up hope, my son." This is said by Lara, of course, Kal-El's mother in the fortress. And this could be a couple of things. This could maybe be about his heart issues. But I do wonder if it's about Doomsday, because Clark is, now that he's back alive, he was just killed by Doomsday not too long ago, about a month ago roughly, and now that thing's still out there. He's now weaker than he was. He was killed by Doomsday when he was probably at his height in regards to his peak of power. Now he's much weaker because of the heart issue. So how does he go about that? And I think that's going to be going through his head. Like, even if he has the help of Jordan and Jonathan and John Henry and Natalie and stuff like that, they're still not at the power level. So how do they deal with Doomsday? And I have a thought that there's a potential, I don't know if this would work, but maybe there's something in the fortress that could deal with Doomsday, even if it's not killing him necessarily, but it's like holding him. Like there's like some Kryptonian tech that can hold him, whether it is like literally like some kryptonite based stuff or ex-kryptonite based stuff within the fortress that can hold him in there. I do wonder if that's a possibility, and that's how they deal with him. So Superman lures Doomsday, they get into a fight, and he's like, okay, quickly fly to the fortress, have this stuff set up, and capture Doomsday. I do wonder if that's a possibility, because I don't know how they defeat Doomsday, or at least Superman as a solo entity defeats Doomsday now, considering the state of himself, because he's weaker, and like I don't know how that's possible. And you'd assume that Doomsday would just, I don't know, be stronger than when they first started their last fight, because he was evolving and stuff like that. So I don't know. Do you think that's possible, that they might do something involving the fortress, or the fortress might be able to procure something that they, Clark or Kal-El or Superman can take with him to take on Doomsday again? I don't know how they're going to deal with it. But have fun figuring it out, I guess, Superman and all the people involved. Now, unfortunately, we have no promo images. They seem to be releasing the promo images on like Thursday or maybe like really early Friday American time, so it's just too late to hold off the trailer breakdown and stuff to include them. Though I must say, a lot of the promo images haven't been that interesting. Like, there's nothing really overly revealed in them. So yeah, it's not like we're missing out on too much. But yeah, just thought I'd mention that. At least the promo images aren't out as when I'm making this video. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we went over this video, any theories and predictions you have, or just predictions and thoughts and stuff. Let me know. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.